Good morning, welcome to my channel. My name is Leslie. If you are new, welcome. Today is a beautiful sunny day here in Nova Scotia, and I thought today would be the perfect day to kind of have, I don't even know what the word is, an update. To have an update. It's been 1 year since our log cabin was covered in mold, and I thought I would show you all the improvements that we've made so far. And to be fair, I'm not sure that all of the improvements have been improvements. Maybe you'll think differently. I don't know, we'll have to wait and see. But it is a beautiful day, so we can take you outside. I can show you some stuff. So I think we're gonna do that today. It's also kind of a busy day because we have some cleaning to do. I'd like to do some baking, and we have to run into, actually no, this is strictly I'm showing you guys the house. But first, a Cinnabon cinnamon bun. This is like having like a cake, but it's acceptable to have for breakfast. And a smoothie is like a milkshake that's acceptable. A smoothie is like a milkshake that's acceptable for breakfast. Just for some context, I thought we should start outside. Matt and I pulled up to this driveway about a year ago, and the drive was obviously long. It was crazy. We had our belongings in a truck that was 2 days behind us, and we were so excited to come see the property, tired, annoyed by the drive. And then we went down this very long dirt road, which seemed to go on forever. And I remember driving here thinking, oh my God, there's no lights anywhere. Like, there's no stores, there's no coffee shops, there's no restaurants, there's no people. And I started kind of like feeling my heart palpitate, thinking, oh my goodness, what have we done? I'm not gonna like this. And then we hit pothole after pothole after pothole. And if you're from Nova Scotia, you know potholes are a thing. So we hit a bunch of potholes. The wind's blowing, it's pouring rain, it's absolute dog shit. Once we meet our neighbors, they tell us it was like one of the worst nights ever here. Even worse than some hurricanes. So anyways, we pull up. We come to the driveway, and at the time there was like a gate here, and Matt took it down. It wasn't in good shape, but anyways, we come down, and this is what sold us from the beginning. The driveway. You pull in and all you see is a lake and that cute little bunkie. It was raining so bad. It was raining so bad that I don't believe we went down to the bunkie first. I think we went into the house. So I'm just gonna kind of retrace our steps for you and explain what happened and what we've done. So the dogs were clearly with us. They were excited to get out of the car after being in the car for like 14 hours. We've added more stone to this, but it was a pretty good path to begin with. It wasn't in bad shape. So this is what we're kind of seeing in the dark. It's pitch black. We can't see shit. But we're kind of nervous. Because now we know it's like, it's real. This is happening. It's a log cabin. We know nothing about log cabins. What the fuck are we doing? And it's windy and pouring rain and really shitty out. And we're just scrambling to find which key opens the door to the house. We get in. Immediately, we're hit by like this stench. And the first thought that comes to mind is, it smells like death in here. We come into the kitchen, and there was a table right here, right underneath that skylight, that had water all over it. All the counters were covered in mold. The drawers couldn't open with ease. Matt had to sand the drawers down so that they would open. We added new countertops, new appliances. We had our roofer come and look at the skylight, which eventually will probably need to be replaced, but for now, he just sealed around the leak, which was perfect. We added a new sink. Like I said, new appliances, dishwasher, new fridge, new stove. We added new handles to all the cupboards. Do we need to paint the inside still? Yes. But on the outside, looking pretty good. New lighting in here as well. Same old dog. We decided to keep the floor for now because, in all honesty, when we're ready to get the kitchen, I have a feeling that it will be down to like the bones. I don't know why, but Matt and I are like seriously believe that the floor is just sitting on the ground, probably rotting. I don't know if that's true. I have no idea, but it is probably, maybe it's not rotting. I don't know. We literally don't have a clue. So then we come into the room that we are so excited to see, the giant living room. And then the smell really hits us. All we have is our flashlights on our phone because the power is not working. And I can't remember if that was because we had someone turn the power off and we just hadn't turned it back on yet. But we also had a problem with the power when we turned it on, only half the house came on. So I can't remember if that was like the no power when we got here was like a problem or if it was just we hadn't turned it on yet. Anyhow, so we get in here and I immediately walk over to this wall. I don't know why. We turn our flashlights on and we see the fucking mold. And I mean, like, you could write your name in it, mold. It was terrifying. And it's exactly what the smell was coming from, was mold. I remember calling my daughter, crying, being, oh my God, we fucked up. I don't know what we did. Like, our grandson Oliver can never be in this house. It's filled with mold. What are we gonna do? And Taya and Devin were pretty kind and they're like, it's okay, it's gonna be okay. We're bawling. Then we look at the rafters and they're covered in mold. Every log turned out to be covered in mold. Now, I know we've already vlogged how we got rid of the mold, so I'm not gonna share much on that. Borax became our best friend. And in all of that shittiness and freaking out thinking mold was like the end of the world, we met really good people. We met our neighbors, Dan and Lisa, that I adore and I seriously look up to. Like, I think that they're just like the coolest, nicest, kindest, intelligent, fun people I've ever met. And I just love them. I love them. I love their daughter and their future son-in-law that we've met. I adore them. And I can't say enough good things about them. And it all started with Dan bringing us a fan. A simple fan. None of the windows would open in here. And we knew we needed airflow, but I don't know what the fuck we were thinking. We weren't. We were panicking. We never thought of a fan. So Dan came in and he saw us cleaning all the mold. And at that time, I think our furniture had finally been delivered. And it was in a pile in the middle of this living room. And Dan's just like, I got an old fan if you want. And about 10 minutes later or the next day, I can't remember exactly which, he came back with a fan. And it was just a simple little thing. And we're just like, oh my God, if we just slow down and we think, we're gonna be okay. Because our initial thought was, oh my God, we're gonna go live in the guest cabin because that's manageable. This, we thought at the time, was not manageable. But then we just got to it. And we started cleaning every log. We had the fans open. We ordered windows. That was a huge, huge piece of our puzzle on solving the mold problem, was having airflow in the house. So we ordered windows. Matt put in the windows. We originally looked at having someone come in and do it for us. At the time, we thought it was out of the budget and very expensive. Hindsight, might have been a good idea to do because they would have replaced the window frames and they wouldn't have been wood. And after we did some research, we found that a lot of rot comes from the wood window frames. So it may have been in our best interest to do vinyl or do something different that the people who gave us the quote for windows were kind of telling us to do. But keep in mind, we weren't sure if we wanted to stay. We were freaking out. So we just didn't want to spend too much money. But I'm glad we did what we did because they work perfect. Matt put in the windows. They are almost all done. This room, the guest bedroom, has 3 new windows. We still need to do the bathroom window, which we're a little bit more afraid of doing in our bedroom. I don't know why, but Matt's worried about that one. And maybe at some other date, I'll let him describe that. So nothing's really happened too much in this room other than new windows. We want new lighting because we have harsh fluorescent lighting in here, which is going to go. In the big living room, we put a new fireplace in, wet certified. It took a very long time, and we spoke about this in other vlogs. It was kind of a nightmare. Had nothing to do with the house being a nightmare. It was who we dealt with to get the fireplace put in. We added new lighting. Our friend Cordell, he is an electrician, and he came and did the lighting for us in here. We also hired someone to help us replace rotten logs in the wall, and we insulated the wall and added new windows. These windows are very key to the flow of air in the house. Most of the time the wind is coming off the lake and it blows right in. So it's really nice to have these new windows and a nice insulated wall, keeping us warm and protecting us kind of from the elements. I wish that we could have kept it as a log wall, but I think because we were so freaked out about wood at the time, we didn't want to add more things that could rot, so we didn't. So we stuck to a more like common wall. I don't even know what we use. It's not drywall. I think it is wood, but plywood maybe? I don't know. And we just painted it and fixed it up. Then you're gonna come into the other living room, which we really haven't done anything in other than dusting and keeping clean and wiping off all the mold in the house. Every log, like I said, every nook, every cranny, if you can possibly imagine, had to be cleaned. We repainted everything that was like shelving. We repainted the wall over there, which I imagine at some point probably had the same issue as the big wall in the living room. Otherwise it would likely be log. We repainted the closet doors. We repainted the doors to the living room. And that's about it for in here. The other thing I forgot to mention, which I'll mention when we come in here into my bedroom, our bedroom, is that we constantly have this guy going. We have 2 dehumidifiers, one in each end of the house, going at all times. They automatically shut off when we've reached a humidity that's acceptable for the house, which I think we have set at like 51, I think. I don't know. The bathroom, you guys know that I've been working on, but it's still an ongoing project, but I hope to have that finished like this weekend. We repainted this whole wall, again cleaned everything in here, and that's pretty much it for in here. The kitchen had like probably the most work. Matt putting in the counters was like a bit of a nightmare. But let's go outside and I'm going to show you a little bit more. Part of our pest management strategy, was to add more lighting outside, because I believe that little rodents and shit doesn't like to come in the house when it's like light out. So we added some string lighting. The string lighting is not just for like rodent repellent, but it's also for our comfort level. Coming home at night is pretty pitch black here. So this definitely added an element. I usually have a table here that I sit and read at and stuff, so it's nice to have some lighting there. The wood piles we added, so there's two, one over here and an empty one there. We've added those. The nice one here that's covered was already here. Now let's go around to the front. I don't know, what do you call the front of the house? I think the front of the house would technically be the lakeside. And this is like the back of the house, but if you live in like a city, it would be the door that goes to, like faces a road would be the front door. But I don't know. Anyways, we'll show you matcha latte. I bought matcha latte once Matt got a job. We needed 2 cars, so hence matcha latte. Matt built a couple more wood stands here. And I kind of like how it makes it like a parking space. Like it protects, it doesn't really protect anything, but it just, I don't know, it all encompasses the car, and I like that. Oh, it's so nice out, like thank God. Another big project that we did was we decided to cut trees down, which if you're from a bigger city, you probably think, save the trees, don't cut the trees. But I think all the shade was contributing to the rot of the house, like rotting logs on the house. So we got rid of, we had an arborist come and tell us which trees needed to come down, which ones were likely causing harm to the house. So we got rid of 2 here, 2 big boys. I think I've shown you these before. There was a big pile of wood here that Matt had taken care of before he left. This is some of it over here as well. Matt also made garage doors, and I want to say we were like in a rush to get those garage doors done, but I can't remember why. I think we might have been going somewhere. Oh, we were. I was going to my camp reunion in October, and Matt didn't want to leave everything like exposed in the garage and not locked up, so he was rushing to get that done. My dad and Matt put together this like little deck underneath the wood there. I don't know if you can see that. So that the wood would be off the ground. And this area is such a great spot to like age your wood, or season it, I guess is the right word, to season your wood. It just needs to be there for like a month, and it's like seasoned because it gets all the weather. Maybe more than a month, but you get the picture. It's pretty quick. And then we have this pile of wood that we still have to get through. There was also a tree down here that needed to come down. It actually was close to falling on the bunkie. It was rotten from the bottom. And like I said, if you go back through other vlogs, you'll see a little bit more detail about that tree. You'll even see it coming down, I think. And this brings me to the bunkie. Our electrician came and replaced a line that was here. And now that really had to be done because of the tree that was coming down. So, tree coming down, power line. This was on a pole at one point. And honestly, I must have came from the house or something. I don't know, but Cordell fixed it. His name's Cordell. He fixed and put in a new line for us. Put outdoor outlets outside so we could add lighting in the future out here. We'll probably just do more of that string light. New outlet. And then the deck. Matt built the deck. The deck was almost the #1 priority to us, because we thought worst case scenario, if we hated the house, if for some reason we hated the town that we're near, if we didn't like any of the people, we would at least love the deck and the lake. There's no question about loving that. So one of Matt's first jobs after just basic maintenance and cleaning and stuff was the deck. And did he ever nail it? Like, it's beautiful. I want to be out here all the time. I just love it. I think he did such an amazing job. Our neighbors gave us some solar lights. So yeah, we're very fortunate to have this, because to me, this is everything. This is where you come have your coffee in the morning when it's nice. This is where you come to read a book. This is where you bring your friends to enjoy swim. This is everything. This is maybe the biggest reason why I love being here so much is the lake. I'm obsessed. I like it. I won't say more than the ocean, but I like it because I can utilize it. The ocean isn't quite the same. Oceanfront properties are beautiful, maybe somewhat more expensive depending on where you are, but this is rural, quiet, and I like it. I like it a lot. And I can swim all the time. And we can use the water, which we do. The water in the house comes from the lake. We have a pump that pumps the water from the lake into the house that we use for showers, dishes, toilets, all of that. Speaking of which, we also had our septic checked and emptied just to make sure everything was okay, and it passed with flying colors. Everything is good there. And now I'll take you into the bunkie and show you what we did in there. Alright, so we added new drapes. These are old drapes from our old house. They were old drapes from our old house. So we just had a seamstress hem them for us, and we're good to go. We didn't have to buy anything to do in here. We did have new cushion covers made. The cushions themselves were pretty good, so we just had covers made. This is out of material that we used inside on a couch that we had found in Ontario, and we had leftover material. So the seamstress who did the curtains also did the cushions. And she also made us, because we had so much excess material, she also made us a couple pillows. And yeah, that's it. I don't think anything else has been done in here. We need to do a little more work on lighting. That is definitely something we want to do. Windows need to be fixed up a little bit. Nothing crazy. So there's still lots to do everywhere, but this is the view. While we're talking about, this is also where Matt and I lived for, I think, just about 2 months when we got here. At least a month. Maybe I'm exaggerating, but yeah, we lived in here. It had baseboard heating here, so we could stay relatively warm because it was still fairly cold. I mean, there were days where we could be in a t-shirt, but most of the time it was pretty cold. One thing that we'd really like to work on is more drainage. When it rains, the ground stays very saturated for a long time, and it's not ideal, and we'd like to keep that saturation more away from the house. So we're making plans to do that. I think that's just like an ongoing battle though. This is the wall on the outside. A new foundation kind of was poured. It's like a sub foundation. It's not, the original foundation is still there. It was put in also to deter water, animals, and to provide extra support. We had electrical put in here so we could have outdoor lighting. More string lights, which I showed you guys that Matt put up right before he left. This, we'll get to this after. Matt built new steps. The steps were a requirement by our insurance company. They had to be replaced. They were not happy with the steps, and rightfully so. I think I almost fell through them a few times, but Matt replaced the stairs and he did an amazing job. I don't think he gives himself enough credit. He's so good at doing this stuff. Like, he's meticulous. He's just really good at it. He's not good at asking for help because I don't think help is as meticulous as he is, and he has a problem with that. We've cleaned up the yard. Matt got rid, and Tristan actually, of a lot of bushes and crap that was like in front of the lake, because why obstruct your view of the lake? This giant tree was taken down. Still needs to be cleaned up. But we have to wait until the ground dries for the guy to come back and with all his gear and his wood chippers and stuff to get rid of it all. I wish we could do it, but we don't have the skill and we don't have the equipment or the grit maybe to do it. So we're hiring someone to come and do that, because leaving it to rot is just asking for more insects and bugs and all kinds of shit that we don't need around our log cabin. So we went from being like super stressed, sad, thinking we made like one of the biggest mistakes of our lives, to meeting some really great people like Jillian and Dave from the Lumberjack's Daughter, who also introduced us to basically our entire circle of friends, Vanessa and James, Cordell and Kelly, Kira and Joel. I feel like I want to say everyone's name just in case they're watching, because we're really grateful for everybody. Reg and David are two of the kindest, cutest, best men I've ever met in my life, and I am so glad that they are a part of our life. I love them to death. Like, I can't say enough good things about them. David's the one that I went to at the antique store when I was devastated about Matt going to Ontario. I clung to him like he was a life raft, and he let me. Yeah, and then Matt getting the job here. Matt getting the job where he did allowed me to go sailing with a woman who's been sailing around the world. I got to sail in the Atlantic Ocean. Like, all of these things happened because it wasn't easy to begin with. I feel like if it was easy and I could just sit in a floaty chair and go to a Starbucks, nothing would have changed. It was because it was hard, and it was because we had to work at it, and it was because Matt and I had to lean on each other in a totally different way than we've ever had to do before. And it made us appreciate each other. It made us appreciate others so much, because the amount of gratitude we had for anyone who either just gave us kind words, suggestions, or opened their doors and had us over for dinner, or taught me how to make soap or bread, or came over with a fan, or lent a ladder, or gave us a phone number for an electrician. All those things were just so welcomed, and I feel insanely grateful. I don't want to leave. And when I first got here, I wondered how long I could stay. And now I don't want to leave. I want to be a part of the community that we're in. I want to be a part of the fishing heritage. You guys have told or heard me talk about fishing multiple times, and the season's almost coming to an end, so I don't know if I'm ever going to get out there, but I still dream about it, and I'm probably romanticizing it, and it's not a romantic thing, I'm sure, but I still want to go check that out. I've loved every second, even the hard stuff, even when I thought I was hating it. Turned out to be love. Now, if we could find a good pizza place, That would be nice. I can't wait for Matt to come back. I asked him the other day how he felt like in Ontario, and he said when he's driving around he feels like nothing. Obviously he likes being with the kids and seeing Oliver and stuff, and it was probably nice to see his friends at work, but I know what he means. Like driving here, we go into town, I can see the ocean. I passed by, I think, 3 lakes on my way to work. It's just, and I know my mom tells me all the time, there's all these things in Ontario. I could have all these things in Ontario. I could have the friends, I could have the job, I could have everything. And maybe she's right, but I was not happy in Ontario. I felt like I had no purpose once my kids got older and didn't need me as they transitioned into adulthood. They just needed me in different ways. I felt like I didn't know who I was, and I've talked about this before. I've talked about it multiple times. But I lost myself. I lost my identity. I didn't know what I was doing. I worked with a cruel woman who probably at one of my lowest points decided to knock me down even harder instead of trying to lift someone up. She was really good at like seeing when someone was weak and vulnerable and just pounding them down. And that probably is what sent me over the edge, to be honest, and really looking for something different, because that's when I knew that I needed a change. Because whatever I was putting out there into the world saying it was okay to treat me like that was no longer okay. A bunch of ducks just flew over and they looked at Fitz and went, no, and turned around. But yeah, I feel like I'm in control of my life. I feel less stressed. Different stress, but less stress. My job, oh my god, I'm so grateful for my job. I work at a wellness clinic with the most wonderful group of people. I am so genuinely happy there. I have great hours. I have a good balance between work and life. I get to go do yoga when I want. I've made some good friends from there. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'd say the only thing that I'm missing is actually sailing. And I don't mean just sailing, because sailing with that woman definitely filled or scratched an itch, shall I say. But it also crossed something off the bucket list by sailing the Atlantic. But I miss sailing with my dad. My dad and I were like best friends and a team. And I miss that. And I do feel bad that I'm not there for him when he's aging and may need some assistance. But honestly, I don't think he's there yet. I don't think he needs assistance. I think he's good. He might just be getting more fearful, but that's not a bad thing. I think sometimes he was too fearless. But anyways, yeah, lots has happened since we've been here. We had death in the family. We had our grandson turn 1. My son got engaged. Just lots. I don't know. I'm probably missing a bunch of things, but my parents have gone on vacations. They've come to visit. Tay and Devin have come to visit. Tristan and Kyra have come to visit. We've gone back home a few times. We had our first Christmas alone. So much has happened and so much has grown. And you guys have really been here for the bulk of it. And I really appreciate it. And I hope that you guys continue to stick around and see what we're going to do. Who knows what we're actually going to do? I don't know. Oh, actually, before we go... No, I'm not going to show you the guest house. We've been working on it. And you've seen it in videos. Nothing has changed since the other videos. A new floor will be going in there. A new fireplace. and Matt's painted all the walls, and we'll kind of refresh the kitchen as well. But other than that, oh, and the bathroom we have to do in there. But that'll be another whole vlog, I think, of its own. For now, we'll just stick to the cabin. And I hope you enjoyed it. I hope it's not too windy and that you can hear me. I hope my squinting isn't driving you nuts, but being outside feels like a gift from God. And I know it's been a chatty vlog. And oh my gosh, you know what? Another first is living alone. I've never in my life lived alone. And here I am in my log cabin, waking up to the beautiful lake by myself with the dogs. Very lucky.